Hi, everyone. My name is Kwame Ade. I'm the founder and director of the Center of Operations Research and Data Science. You can call it short, CORDS for short. And I'm also an assistant professor of business analytics at Minnesota State University, Moorhead. The objective of today's video is to examine how to use Google Trends package in R to identify the trends of keywords in a particular location. Secondly, we want to employ the Prophet package also in R to perform a forecast on the future search trends of these words. So with that being said, we'll move on straight to R, and then we see how to do these in practice. So here we can see our R codes being displayed here. So the first thing you would want to do when working in R is that you want to make sure you have installed the required packages for the activity you want to perform. So in line 8 here, I install the Google Trends package. Then in line 9, I install the Prophet package. So as I mentioned earlier, we are using Google Trends because we are assessing the keywords from Google Trends. And we are using Prophet because we are going to use the Prophet package for our forecast. So tidy text also helps us to mine the text from online. So I'll install tidy text. So with that being said, you can see from the console that all these packages are installed were successful. So with that being said, I'll call in the relevant libraries and then move on to my steps. So in step 1, my goal is to understand the trends for football, basketball, and then baseball in the US. That is my goal. So I run that with the Google Trends. And then when I run that with the Google Trends, I call that data as sports data. So in the next step, so of course, when I run that with the Google Trends and I call it as sport, we see that data here. So in the next step, I try to convert this data into a time series data. So when I call it into a time series data, I'm seeing here that I have 783 observations and 7 variables. And I named this data as sports underscore time series. So I just want to be sure of how this data looks like. So I just run using the name of the data, and I'm seeing that I have the date, I have the number of hits per specific date, I have the keyword, the geographical location, the time, and then category and group. So from there on, my decision here now is to plot these three words over the period using my ggplot. So I run it, and these are the trends. So we see that in the last 5 years, the most searched sports word among these three is football. Now, what you see here is the relative search, in the sense that the searches are normalized between 0 and 100. So we are seeing that the highest search is football. And then there is a wide gap between football and the next in recent times. So that is, the next is basketball. Then baseball has not been searched that much compared to the other two. So basically, these are the trends of search on Google Trends for these three sports words. So then I'm concerned about what the search will be in the future, because in predictive analytics, we are often concerned about what will happen in the future. So having knowledge of the historical trends, we now move on into step 5 to build a forecast model for football. So in order to build a forecast model for football, we filter football from the data, and then we arrange it by date. So this is what I ran. And then I further move on to create a data frame. And then I'm trying to forecast for the next 365 days. So these are the periods I'm forecasting for. Then following that, I create the data by segmenting the actual and then the forecast data. So once I have those, then I can move on and then use my ggplot again to plot the forecasts. So this is supposed to be the forecast in the next 365 days or the next 1 year for football over time. So we see that there's going to be a dip, and then it gets to a particular point in the year where it begins to rise, and then it declines again towards December. Now, because we don't have enough information, we cannot explain why these patterns occur. But however, you can take it upon yourself to explain why these patterns occur. For instance, why is it that there is a decline in search for football when it gets towards December? And you see that this pattern is consistent for all the years. Anytime it's getting to December of that particular year, there is a decline. So you may want to search for that and understand why. Now we follow the same procedure, and then by following the same procedure, we build a forecasting model for basketball. So I ran these same lines of code here. And then after that, I create the forecasting for basketball. So we see again for basketball that there's going to be a sharp rise. And then this would be followed by a decline. And then even though there's going to be a rise, it's not going to be as before. So this is the future search forecasted for basketball. Then when we come to baseball, we follow the same procedure. And then after following the same procedure, we plot the forecast and actual data. So we see for baseball, there's going to be a rise, and then there's going to be a decline towards December of 2026. Then I'm interested in looking at how these three will interact in one chart. So essentially, what I'll do is to combine these three using the R bind and then call the new data as keyword underscore forecast. So I run keyword underscore forecast, and I'm seeing here that it's run. So I'm sure I have that data showing there. Then I run these three using my ggplot. So when I run these three using my ggplot, this is how the three forecasts overlap. So then again, having this information, you can be able to make an important business decision on where to invest your money in. If you feel that your returns is dependent on interest among the populace in the US. Thank you very much for watching.